So we talked about the unit circle, which again is a circle with a radius of 1. And we talked about a point on the graph over x up y. And then we talked about same distances in each of the quadrants. So this one would be negative x, positive y, negative x, negative y, and x, negative y. And then what we did is we drew a triangle within the first quadrant, and we showed that the x value is also the same as the cosine of theta, and the y value is also the same as the sine of theta. And so in the second quadrant, it would be negative cosine, positive sine. Third quadrant, negative cosine, negative sine. And lastly, in the fourth quadrant, positive cosine, negative sine. Let's talk about the tangent function. We talk about the sine is opposite over hypotenuse, the cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, and the tangent is opposite over adjacent. But the tangent is also sine over cosine. So if we know the sine value and we know the cosine value, we can find the tangent. So if you look here, the sine is y, the cosine is x, so in this quadrant, tangent is y over x. In this, y over negative x, negative y over negative x, which again simplifies to just y over x. Notice they're the same in the first and the third quadrant. And negative y over x, which again, they're the same in these two quadrants. So again, quadrants 1, 2, 3, and 4. And let's talk about the values. So in the first quadrant, cosine is positive, sine is positive. Tangent is sine over cosine, so positive divided by a positive. So tangent is also positive. Let's make that green. Second quadrant, cosine is negative, sine is positive. So if we divide those two, then tangent is negative. Third quadrant, cosine is negative, cosine is negative, sine is negative. So if we divide those two, negative divided by a negative, we get a positive. Fourth quadrant, positive, negative. If we divide those, we get a negative. So what does this mean? It means in this quadrant, the cosine, the sine, and the tangent are positive. In this quadrant, cosine and tangent are negative, sine is positive. In this quadrant, sine and cosine negative, tangent positive. In this quadrant, sine and tangent negative, cosine positive. So one way to remember that, I mean, you can just think about it logically like we just did. Go over positive, up positive, go over negative, up positive, divide them to figure out tangent. But the other thing that you can do is remember A, S, T, C. There's many phrases that people use. All students take calculus is the one that we're going to use. All, meaning all of them are positive. S, meaning sine is positive, therefore the other two are negative. T, tangent is positive, so the other two are negative. C, cosine is positive, so the other two are negative. So if I said to you, in which quadrant is tangent negative? Well, they're all positive here. Tangent's positive here, so tangent would be negative in the second and the fourth quadrant. So it doesn't matter what method you use to try to memorize this or just think about it logically, but you need to remember that, again, cosine is the x value, the sine of theta is the y value, which quadrants it's positive in, which quadrants it's negative in, when is the tangent positive, when is the tangent negative, that the tangent is the sine over the cosine. All this just requires memorization. Keep reviewing your notes and going back over these because, again, we're going to get to higher order trig stuff, non-right triangle trig, where all of this is going to be critical in solving multi-step problems.